Welcome to 48ers, where we talk to filmmakers about their experiences creating short films in just 48 hours. From brainstorming the story, casting, production, and post, we get a deep look behind the scenes of teams competing in the 48-hour film project. In this episode, we continue our conversation with the team of Petrichor Motion Pictures. How do you build your 48-hour team? And maybe that's a question that goes back a few years as you first started getting it going. You know, how did you find the right people? How do you get people in the right lane so they can really do what they have to do? What's your whole process in terms of the team building on that? I admit it's a really unusual challenge. How do you guys do it?
I think in that respect, we're really lucky to have Elijah, who has such an amazing network of friends and family that want to help out. So I should let him talk to that end of it.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say first, Sean and Katie, because, they help us get things together. But yeah, I have a lot of good friends. I didn't have the best background growing up, but all my friends were there for me and knew that I wanted to make film. And, they always said, hey, if you got something for me, let me know. And we've let them know ever since, and they've showed up every time. And this little family, our film family this is going to be our 5th year, has grown into this big support system. And it's more than just film, it's really a family. Like we have lost one of us recently, but a lot of them have reached out to me and been there for, us during the situation and things like that. So it's a blessing to have met all these people and to make these films with these beautiful people. And like I said, it's not just friends. These are family now. This is my film family, and I will continue to, as long as Sean and Nathan and whatever one of my film families, friends and family want me to be on set with them, I'm going to show up and be with y'all, and we're going to bring the whole army. That's what's going to happen. We're going to make movies.
I love it. What are the other things that are happening over the course of a year that sort of bring that group together? Like I've got a great group of people, but a lot of them I only see the once a year that we do a 48. What are the other touchstones? What are the other ways you're bringing them together to do film or film adjacent stuff? What does that look like? How do you nurture that film family?
I know at least for as far as Nathan goes, and I have to admit, I can say this now, I was a little nervous bringing Nathan on board for the Eulogy.
There we go. You absolutely should be. If you weren't nervous after having done this a few years, bringing in a wild card, man, you're not paying attention.
I know. But co-writing with somebody I wasn't sure about doing, and I wasn't sure how I felt about the whole thing, but it ended up being amazing. This really, really incredible experience.
Likewise.
So I hope he comes back.
Yeah, absolutely.
But as far as the touchstones go, I like talking with Nathan about writing in general throughout the year. We'll meet up occasionally and talk about what each of us is working on and pick each other's brains, which is incredibly valuable to me, and I'm sure it is to him too. But that is the biggest touchstone I think that he and I have. It's just that writing feedback, that circle of feedback.
Yeah.
Now, what kind of writing are you guys doing throughout the year? I know, Sean, you've got a few. Are these like features or are there short films that you're doing over? You're doing some writing for film, Nathan, what kind of writing are you doing, sir?
I'm doing writing for film as well. I actually just sent Sean my feature screenplay that was placed second round in the Austin Film Fest. So I'm doing rewrites right now on it, and I sent it to Sean. And Elijah, if you're happy to read it, I'll send it to you too. But
yes, sir.
Just for feedback purposes, it's like the 5th rewrite of it, and I needed a fresh perspective. And first person I think of is Sean. We've exchanged scripts a couple times over the year, and it's just always been great. And I was fortunate enough this year to be able to be brought on as a co-writer for this. We almost worked together last year, but I believe y'all were set in the writing department, and I was trying to get my feet wet doing writing. So I ended up writing for another film that was in the 48, Superhero Anonymous. And so I was in that writer's room, and so that was a good experience too.
That film cleaned up too, by the way.
Yes, sir.
That was another one of those, it was, we were just in the room, just kind of riffing and being as ridiculous as we could. And so, applying that logic to the Eulogy, a little bit of heart and some like kind of hardcore comedy, I think,
just rip it.
Can't go wrong.
Nice. So how did you guys meet? What was the like initial connection between you?
Yeah, we met at the Lone Star Film Fest. I applied to be a volunteer, and Sean was there with Katie being a volunteer, and yeah, we just kind of clicked, and I think it's been just a easygoing relationship after that. just been kind of trading work and keeping each other updated on what's going on. And then I met Elijah shortly after, and it's just kind of clicked all around.
And I asked you guys this question earlier, and it's, what is your day gig like when you're not doing short films? What's your Monday to Friday?
I'm actually a part-time bookkeeper for a construction company.
I'm a marketing manager for a construction company out in Grand Prairie.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a project manager for a indexing company in Dallas.
And all those skills kind of bleed over in some ways, don't they? You know, but the marketing and the project management, and that's fun to me. What are the other like staple people that you need to make this thing work? You've got a DP that came from Austin. How did you connect with that person?
Glenn Maxwell. I met him at Real East Film Festival in Kilgore. We went to school together at UNT. I think he was a year or two behind me, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And so we met at Real East and just kind of started trading notes back and forth about our projects. And he actually shot a film that I did last year called The Hard Way, which was our first time working together, and it would not be the last.
You know, when you find those partners, those people you really like working with, especially over the 48, like if they can keep it together over 48 and you can get something across the plate, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you learn a lot about people. So how did your, what are the other key people? You've got this whole film family Elijah mentions. You've got at least one lead actress that you've been able to lean on several times. Who are some of the other key players that you feel like, you know, I know they're going to show up. I know we're going to be able to knock this, you know, they're going to give their level best. And if if those people show up, then I'm willing to kind of run this thing as hard as I can. Like, who are those key players? But more importantly, like, what's their lane? Like, what is the weight that they carry that makes this thing work?
I've really liked building a relationship with Lee Pena, our actor in the Eulogy.
Mm-hmm.
He was in my film The Hard Way as well. Just, you can do anything to the guy and he just doesn't care. But more importantly, you know he's going to show up. You know he's going to bring an attitude and a level of excitement to set that's kind of unmatched and infectious.
And I'm sorry, I wanted to cut in and add, he will be your on-set physical therapist as well. Glenn was having some back issues, and Lee was wonderful and, you know, helped him stretch out on set. So that was great.
No, you got to take care of the DP, man. That is an exhausting job if they're doing it right. And it looks like there was a lot of handheld stuff he was doing on that.
It was. He was
that climactic
moving.
scene. Those were tight shots too. I didn't know how in the world he was following that.
Man, he was moving. He knew we would set the lighting. He would get in there and he'd knock it out. He was just rolling.
So who are some of those other people? You've met Glenn, you've been working with Glenn, because you know, every now and then, like, because they're doing those 48s now where it's like, hey, we'll do a horror like one weekend, right? And it's a national thing. If you can get some people together and do it, they've got a bunch of these random genres. And it's like, you know, if I could get a group of people together for the weekend, I'd do it. But if this person doesn't show up, then I don't know if it's worth going off half cocked. So it's like, who are those must-have players in your group? And what are they doing that helps to kind of make things all happen? You've got to have a paperwork person, right? Because I'm not doing that damn paperwork.
Oh, no. No, that's my wife. She does all of that. And I guess on that note, if I don't have her support in something, it makes it a lot harder to want to do.
I hear that.
So having her there is a huge bump in my morale. But also, I would like to work with Nat Williams on pretty much everything, if only because she's fun to have around. And so if she had to bail on a project, that would give me pause.
Now, is she an actor by profession? Is that something she does on the side, or just for you?
I think it's on the side. I'm not sure what she does for a 9 to 5.
There's a lot of actors who are just piecing gigs together and they do it because they love it. You got to admire it, but I don't know how they make it from day to day. It's a hustle. It's a grind.
Yeah.
How did you meet her?
Man. Elijah, how did we meet that?
You know, I don't remember. I'm telling you, it feels, that's how much we conversate and like are with each other. I genuinely don't know how we've met these people. These people have just come to us and we've just flocked together and, like I said, become a family. Like, I can't generally remember when we've met. I don't remember meeting Lee for the first time, to be honest with you.
Funny.
So Lee, I met him at 48 for the first time. Nat has got to be from 48.
And so they were on another team and you poached them? Is that what you're saying?
Probably, yeah.
Probably so, yeah.
I do want to give a shout out to a few other of our crew members. have Gabriel Barron. He's in all of our 48. He's always the quiet guy. He was the guy you saw eating the vegetables. He was also in Dumbbells the year before eating a cookie in the background.
Okay.
But he does all of our title cards, special effects if we need anything. But he
The
also
neon title cards on Dumbbells is tight. I always thought that was really, really, and the L that falls over, it's like, that's extra for a 48. That's really well done.
he's an extra
Okay.
person.
Yeah.
But he's amazing, and he shows up. He's just like they said, how Lee is. If you throw something at him, he's gonna get out there. He's gonna do it. And our crafty Rebecca Plum, she keeps us well fed. So that spread you saw in the eulogy, that was one shot, and then everybody ate it all.
Yeah, that was not just a prop.
Yeah.
We've done this a few years, and it's really, really, and we've had the same kind of experience where you sort of meet somebody and they just kind of get rolled in and like, I don't know how in the world I met you. It was like a random phone call and then you kept showing up and now you're just here. And I know a lot of people who want to get sort of things off the ground for doing film stuff and 48s especially. You know, it's a real question of like, who are my people? How am I going to lean on people to do this? You guys have built this great cloud of people that can kind of help you do it. What kind of advice would you give to somebody who was really wanting to get a team off the ground, you know, and they were kind of coming at this fresh? How do you approach that relationally? Like, what sorts of things are you doing to kind of get yourself into situations where you're meeting people that would be a good team member? Because you're obviously doing it intentionally, as much networking as it looks like you're doing.
You just have to put yourself out there and make yourself vulnerable in that regard. And I hate that, by the way. I'm terrible at that. But it's so important just to go where the people are and put yourself out there, be yourself, and have a great pitch for a project.
Mm.
And I would add Blanc Studios is a great resource. They have so many networking events,
sure.
and there's so many people there that just love making movies that, you know, it's hard not to bump into somebody that you might be able to work with.
What does Blanc do in terms of those sort of networkings in the local film community? That's fascinating to me.
So they host, I've been to film events there where they have classes where they bring instructors in to teach about something, industry mixers, they have film festival stuff there. I think he does a really good job of adding their fingerprint to the indie film scene in Fort Worth.
I know when I do a 48, there's almost always a scene that's like in that warehouse with that rolling door across the back. That's all glass, so you can shoot light through it. And there's a few settings in there. I'm like, that looks like Blanc to me.
Yeah. There was a team last year that was, I was talking to one of their teammates and he was kind of waiting for everybody to clear out of the mixer because they were using Blanc to shoot for their 48. I was like, you son
Wow.
of a bitch.
All right, guys, clear out.
Yeah, everybody go home. We have work to do,
I want to go find somebody who will donate some time on a volume screen.
right?
That would be
I'm
super
sure.
fun.
I feel like you can find one.
They're probably not shooting a lot on Saturdays is my guess. I don't know. Tell me about what have you learned about building team, the people, the kinds of people that you're looking for when you're building a team? And I kind of want to turn the conversation a little bit because I think we've all had that person who sort of joins the team and you're like, wow, this person's not going to be a great fit. This person is not bringing the right chemistry. And not to sound like you're sort of excluding people, but they're also, as a leader, you have to kind of create some boundaries and protect the people who are doing the good work. How do you create the right kind of environment on set and protect it from the kinds of ingredients that are going to make that problematic?
I think we've been really blessed to surround ourselves with really great people. Again, Elijah's support group is such a huge part of that. But beyond that, even we try to bring people in that kind of have the same spirit as we do, the same enthusiasm. All of our sets for 48 and for non-48 stuff, all of our sets are very much drama-free, like any of that. Try to keep the energy high, the enthusiasm high. But there are people that we've worked with that I would not work with it again because they don't necessarily fit that particular ideology. And in my experience, those people feel it too. And so there's not this really like distinct breakup period.
Mm-hmm.
We've kind of just gone our separate ways and that's fine.
Not a good fit.
Yeah. And I think you realize it and I think they realize it too, to some extent. You just kind of separate.
Elijah, when you're doing your directing and stuff like that, how do you kind of help keep, I mean, because there's obviously these like, oh crap moments when you're shooting, right? Or, there's a crisis or somebody's got to wait or figure out their problem or, honestly, there's always kind of a crunch during post at some point where there's a crisis you've got to overcome. How do you kind of keep people clear and focused as you're navigating, those problems that are bound to come up?
So I've been directing since I was in high school. I've done plays. I worked with all different types of people. I've done stuff like that. But Sean likes to say I'm a people person. I don't think I am, but I do. I know how to empathize and sympathize with people's feelings. As I stated, I did not come from a great background, so I had to learn to be in the world and around people. But also, I was a young father, so I had to learn to grow up a lot faster and talk to my two young boys as men. I like to take a step back, talk to the person first, get to know them, and then we're gonna discuss and we're gonna become a family first. Like I said, you come on one of our sets, you're one of us. So I want to get to know you first, and then we're gonna dive in and we're gonna make a movie. We're all here to do one thing, and that's make a
I hear that. I hear that. What is the are you guys going to do it this year again? Are you like just a ride or die? We're doing it every year kind of thing?
I don't know if it's ride or die, but every year we kind of revisit with each other and ask each other if we want to do it again. I think this year we will.
What's the thing you hope you can do differently this next year, right? That's really going to help you to do it better, more efficiently. You had some time left over on Sunday. If you knew you had an extra 6 hours on Sunday, how do you start knowing, hey, this is where we're going to spend that time. This is where we can tune it up. This is where we can double down on something we're already doing great, or maybe start to invest in something we want to do better. What's the edge this year?
That's a great question.
Sean, go ahead.
No, go for it.
Well, I was going to say in the scripting process, you can throw out bigger ideas. This time we were in one location because, logistically, I think we weren't sure what all we had access to. So we just kept in a single location for ease of use. And I think if, this continues into the next year, I think, you can take broader swings and, hope that what we took from this past year.
I always make the mistake of shooting in too many locations. You end up spending most of your time just moving all of your stuff everywhere. And like we did, oh gosh. Yeah, we had a couple years where we just ended up shooting like in several different places. And it was just, Maternal Instinct. We did the hotel, we did a park, and we did a restaurant. And we're like, next year, we're definitely not going to shoot in as many places. And then we shot in 4 places. And it was ridiculous. And it was burning so much time and energy just moving things around and setting up shots in this entirely different location. Guys keep asking that question. What do you think you want to do a little bit better next year? Like there's got to be, or is it just sort of the fun of the ride? You just kind of want to do it and do the best you can, have fun and not stress out.
I'd say for this year, it's just for the fun of the ride, to be honest with you, just to get out there and make a movie. If it were to make things better, like location, but also at the same time, these guys are good at like writing for one location. They can just look at one and be like, okay, and they
Make it
work
work.
for it. So we can utilize whatever, but I think this year is, for the love of the game, because we love it and we just like to get together and honestly spend that 48 hours together and spend that company because honestly, we might need it. We might be in a tough, you never know what your cast members or crew members are going through in that time of year. But when that time of year comes around, it's like, hey, you want to do it? And that's that little spark. Like I know for me and I know for Sean and Nathan as well, like just that little spark of we're all going to get together and do something and it's going to be a good time.
We're going to make something cool. That's the way I always kind of like to couch it, right?
Yeah.
What if there's one thing, and I want to loop back and talk about the hard way just for a minute because I'm curious and want to give you a chance to plug however much you can. If somebody was thinking about doing this for the first time, right? They've never done a 48 before, and they're kind of on the fence, and you were going to give them like one piece of information or encouragement that kind of pushes them over the line to do it. Each of you, what would you say?
I think I would say if you're doing it for the first time, I think there are a million reasons not to do it, or a million reasons why somebody will tell you you can't do it. I think you just do it anyway. Just get out there and do it for the first time.
I would say kind of piggyback off Sean, but if you have that drive to make art and make film, and even if you're alone, even if you're just one person, because I did see one year, I believe a kid made a film and it was just like 3 people in this film.
Well, the one guy did it with just himself.
Just himself.
there
Yeah,
was
there's
a-
one.
There
This
was one in
feature.
Dallas and one in Houston this year was solo. Both
Yeah.
of them went to
Crazy.
one guy thing. And I kind of would like to try that because it's a question of like scope and scale.
Yeah.
It's possible, but you gotta do it right. I want to figure that out. That's wild, right? That's a wild challenge.
But you just gotta believe in yourself and take that leap of faith. That's literally what it is. Like there's times I doubt myself, and Sean's like, "No, shut your mouth and let's do it," and we do it. So it's just taking a leap of faith and approaching those people that might not want to make a film, but maybe if you give them the cool idea.
Nathan, what do you say, sir?
Really, I think that, just piggybacking off of these guys, I think it's if you want to do it, like what Sean said, there's a million reasons not to do it. And I think, especially if it's your first time, you don't know until you show up and, put in a little bit of effort because, you could show up and, automatically realize, this isn't really for me. But, for me, my journey with film is that I kind of just showed up on the day and was like, I love this. Like, I want more. And so, working with these guys has been a dream. And so, the last couple of years doing the 48 has been a lot of fun, even though just being in the writing process for it. But, just even being a fly on the wall for production and the editing process, there's a place for everybody. And if you have, and you can learn how to do a specific thing and you can branch out and learn to do more. And so it's one opportunity after the other. And so I think people should take advantage of that.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to like and subscribe and go make something cool.